common sense ain't common.
On this episode of Simply Necessary Conversations.
So, trending topics today on this episode, I saw this on TikTok and it is gone crazy viral. People have been posting it, talking about it, commenting on it. And the post reads, "My husband is making us fly home from our honeymoon after one day because he found out I sent my ex a simple goodbye text on the morning of our wedding. It was a goodbye text, for goodness sake, not a I will always love you text, not a drop everything and meet me at the altar text. Need to say goodbye to have closure on the unmarried part of my life. Please tell my sensitive girlies that they understand." So, was she wrong to send a goodbye message? Or is it just kind of...
She was absolutely... Okay, the closure that she's claiming she needed, that was supposed to happen when she started the relationship with the man that I assume she dated, became engaged to, planned a wedding with. The morning of the wedding to this man that you, I assume, have been with for several months or possibly years, that's when you're going to disengage with your ex?
If I was the husband, my issue is, why are you still thinking about this man?
Closure, if she sent the goodbye text because, okay, I'm dating a new guy, but I'm using my sanctified imagination that you have dated this man, he proposed to you, you accepted the proposal, you were engaged to him for a certain amount of time, y'all planned a wedding, and you're now at the day of the wedding. You 6 steps in, and this is when you need closure from somebody else? No, he wasn't wrong. He was not wrong.
Because forget the honeymoon. Can we revisit the whole marriage situation in general? Because it just seems so... to me, I feel like the whole closure thing is always just an excuse to talk to that person for one last time.
But why wouldn't that have been closed at the point that she got...
To me, the whole concept of getting closure is stupid. Because the closure is the fact that the relationship is over.
Yeah.
Unless there's some really extenuating circumstance, you know why you broke up with somebody. You already know if they've shown you how they treated you, if you've shown them how you treated them. We already know.
I can understand still being angry or feeling a certain kind of way, but the closure, like you said, is when the relationship ends. Yeah. And it's almost like, to me in this situation, okay, are you sure we're done? Because I'm getting ready to get married. Why would you?
But the thing is, she's already married. So it's not even...
But she said the day he found out that she did it the day of the wedding. Yeah. So to me, that was almost like, let me see if he responds a certain kind of way before I do this. She was wrong. She was wrong. He wasn't wrong. I don't blame him, and I would not feel comfortable in the marriage.
I wonder how the ex-boyfriend felt when he saw was it kind of like a, girl, why'd you even think about me? Or was it like she's still thinking about me?
Well, and then even if she waited until after the wedding, because I'm not going to talk about things that happen right after people's wedding. I'm not going to talk about it, but there's things that people do right after they get married in terms of exes that make you say, what is this about?
Yeah.
Once you're engaged to the new person, now, like I said, it takes time to get over somebody. If you end up in a kind of rebound situation where you just broke up with somebody and now you with somebody new, I could understand there's still things that could trigger you. But you're at the point that you have accepted a marriage proposal and getting ready to marry somebody else. There should be nobody. And then, was it that one particular person? Because what about all your other exes?
Maybe she only has one ex.
Maybe it could be.
Especially young generations.
It could be. I didn't have a lot of exes that I would have.
Maybe she only had one main
ex.
But it's
or the most recent ex, I guess.
But still, it's just so why not get closure from? Would it have been worse if she would have reached out to every ex she's ever had?
That would have been terrible.
Or would it have? Is it worse that it was one particular person that she? And did they continue to be
friends or something?
Friends, and now that she's married, she doesn't feel comfortable carrying out that friendship anymore.
Whatever the situation is, I don't blame the husband. I would have been angry because I'm sure this man is now reevaluating this whole situation and wondering, did I marry the right person? Should I have got married at all? I'm on the guy's side this time.
I feel like I would be very caught off guard And did she tell, well, she said he found out, so she didn't inform
No, I think
him.
the thing said that she told him when I informed him or something. I thought it said.
Let's consult the TikTok.
Yeah, let's be accurate.
No, it says found out.
Oh,
so
that's even and how did he find out? Did the ex then say, "Hey, your girl just hollered at me"?
I think
it's terrible.
It's even more icky that she did it behind his back, because that means you knew what you were doing was a little shady, a little wrong, and you were gonna do it regardless of how he felt
about it.
Or even, it would have pissed me off if I would have been asked, "Hey, can I text my ex?" But
or even told that you did it.
But I still feel like, and if she was just gonna go ahead and do it, she should have told him in advance. Hey, I don't have no feelings.
There's nothing that she could have done with this particular set of criteria that would have made it okay. Like, there's no way that that's okay, because X should have been like in the trash can of her memories.
You still got his number in your phone?
Well, X should have been in the trash can of her memories. He should not have been thought about, talked about, reminisced about. Like, you're supposed to be so excited that you're marrying your husband. Like, why are you? Yeah, I'm on his side, and I'm wondering. I want to update. Did this marriage stay together? Like, did they stay together after this?
I don't know. I didn't see an update. There probably is one.
I want to know. Like, I really want to know. Did he give her another chance? Did he stay with her? Because if I'm him, that's gonna stick in my craw. And then the fact that she posted about it, where other people now know she did it.
Now, first you insulted him by sending a message. Well, first you insulted him by not telling him that you were going to do it. Wait,
we got to go all the way. First you insulted him by still thinking about it. Yeah.
You insulted him by still wanting to do it. Then you insulted him by sending the message behind his back. Then you insulted him by him having to just find out that you sent the message. Now you insulted him by now he's not the only one that's embarrassed in his own mind. The whole world
Everybody knows.
And this post went very viral. So all of his friends, all his family probably know.
Maybe she made, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe she made a panic pick, got with somebody, accepted a proposal, and she really didn't want to be married. And she sabotaged. This is a situation where she self-sabotaged. She did not want to be married. And instead of saying it, she's making him break up with her, which is very cruel to this man who may have thought that he was in a situation with the love of his life.
Down the aisle and go on the
people do it. People do it.
Ruin the relationship.
People do it. I had somebody tell me, a elder person, I'm not going to say who they were, but I had somebody tell me that they knew on the day of their wedding that the marriage was not going to work, but the family members had paid for it and the plans had been made, whatever, and they went through with it. But she said she knew, because I know on my wedding day, my cousin Regina came into where I was getting dressed and told me, she's like, we ain't got to do this, right? Like, cause girl, she's like, girl, this could be a party. We ain't got to do this. And I was like, no. She's like, you sure? And I was like, yeah. I probably should have listened to her. But anyway, I was like, yeah. So she was like, okay, which one is ours? And then she went and had to talk with him. I don't know what she said to him.
She didn't know him before?
She had never met him. Okay. Maybe she had met him briefly, but like it had been some years since. So she came and found me. She's like, now, we ain't got to do this. Notice the we. We ain't got to do this. This can be a party. And then she was in one house. I was like, yeah, I'm sure. She's like, okay, which one is ours again? And I was like, go, somebody will show. And he said that she had to talk with him too. I don't know what she said to him, but people have done it. Now, on my wedding day, I was very, very sure. There was no doubts in my mind. I was very, very sure I would not have done it otherwise. But people have shared, at least one person specifically shared with me, they knew on the wedding day that they were not. I'm not going to tell you on this. Like, I'll tell you.
Somebody I know?
Yeah, it's somebody you know.
Like, closely?
Let's move on. I'll tell you afterwards.
I feel like you've never told me that before.
I probably never told you, but yes, she absolutely told me. I'll tell you who it is. I mean, I don't think you'll be surprised, but I'll tell you who it is. But she told me, she's like,
I feel like I know who it is.
Yeah.
I feel like I know. But moving on from that woman's possibly failed marriage because she made a poor choice, on to Let Me Put Y'all On. We recently discovered not a new restaurant, but a restaurant that we had been told to go to many times. Everyone was posting about it. But we finally got the chance to go, and it lived up to expectations.
It did.
It's over in the USF area of Tampa, if y'all are familiar with that area.
I think it's on 56th Street.
It's in Temple Terrace. Maybe it's on,
I think it's on 56th Street.
But Mango's Cafe, very much good food, very much will be back. It's a mix of soul food and Haitian food. We went on a Sunday, so the menu was mainly soul food. We got, and I have photos that, we can include, but we had some fried chicken.
It was
wings,
honey fried chicken, I believe.
Chicken. We had some rice. You had dirty rice. I had yellow rice, mac and cheese. The lemon pepper shrimp was very, very good.
It was very good. And the shrimp were nice size shrimp, like they weren't small shrimp.
And everything was very like fresh and hot. And we did kind of have to wait a while because it's so popular.
Yeah.
But the wait was worth it. And I also got their pineapple lemonade. And it was also really good. And it seemed like a family-owned type environment.
Seemed like it.
Everyone was super friendly, super nice, got everything we needed.
Now, I recommend personally that you plan to do takeout because while there is seating, it is very limited. It's a small space in there. So, or sitting outside because we sat outside and ate. They have a couple tables and chairs and stuff outside. But if you're the type of person that you don't like to be close by people when you're eating, plan to do takeout. You can sit in there, but seating is limited and it's probably going to be full no matter when you go. So kind of keep that in mind. But the food was good. The food was definitely good.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it was one of those places where normally when I go to a new restaurant, there's like one thing that I really love, and then other stuff is just okay. Or you might not really like it that much.
Yeah.
But everything we had was really good.
Yeah.
And
the service was good, and everybody was super polite.
Yeah.
That I like that the customer service was good. They were very polite.
And they were very attentive, even with it being as busy as it was. The people that were seated, they were constantly checking on them and making sure they had the food that they needed and had the experience that they needed. I think they need a bigger location.
Yeah.
I think they moved from where they were before, possibly.
And they may have just had to pick somewhere.
And they just had to pick like a smaller place, I'm sure, because of cost or convenience or whatever. But I definitely think they need a bigger location or maybe multiple locations so that way people don't all have to congregate.
I bet you if they got a bigger space, the customer base would grow because even in that small space, I could tell people were used to coming there because I heard people making comments about when I was here last time, whatever. So they definitely have a regular customer base. They get a bigger space, then their customer base.
And I want to try going on a day that's not like, because they did like their Sunday brunch menu on Sunday when we went.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was some of the reason why it was so busy was because it was like that specialty menu that people can only get on that one day, and people probably were coming after church and after their weekend activities. So I'm sure maybe on a weekday it was a little less. It'll be a little less crowded to where you can sit and just.
I get the feeling they're going to be busy no matter what because the food is good, and like once you find good food, especially if it's consistently good, it's going to always be busy.
Especially Caribbean / Black American soul food.
Yeah.
Once you find a restaurant that actually does it right.
Yeah.
And also I feel like a lot of the college kids that are used to eating their food at home and they got to eat like that nasty cafeteria food. They will flock there and get stuff because it's like finally a restaurant.
And I will say, I mean, the lemon pepper shrimp wasn't enough to share because it was good. You're not going to want to share it.
Yeah.
But I think generally the servings, especially the size they are very generous with the rice and the sides and stuff that they offer. You could share it. Like if you're not starving like we were, 2 people could eat it. Could, sure in theory, share a plate.
Yeah,
get the gravy. On that
rice was 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So mangoes.
Yes.
I believe on 56th Street.
It's definitely in Temple Terrace. You can Google it. It's all over TikTok. Y'all can find it real easy. But what had happened was people were in a tizzy and an uproar. I saw it and I immediately was in my feelings about it because I'm just like, how dare she? And I'm sure some people might have a different perspective on this depending on how they grew up, how they were raised, whatever. But this is what had happened. A mother pawned her 13-year-old's PS5 because he refused to pay the light bill. He refused to use his birthday money to pay the light bill. Now, things that are evident in the video that was posted, I think by her, was that her nails were done. I believe her hair was done. She had on jewelry. She was clothed. There were some things that, there were some unnecessary expenses that she obviously paid for versus possibly paying the light bill. And now she wants it to be her son's responsibility. Maybe he's the man of the house. Maybe he's the only boy. Who knows I don't know if she has a husband or a boyfriend or whatever. But people were saying that she basically was a terrible mom for pawning her son's game in order to pay bills for the household. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that kid should be expected to help pay bills if the family is struggling? Or do you think the parents need to figure it out themselves.
Okay, as always with topics like this, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of pieces that have to be taken into consideration. So my first question would be, is she the one that bought the PlayStation? Because, kind of it was her PlayStation.
Yeah.
She gifted to him. That's one of the big questions. Did she buy it, or is this something somebody else gave him? Mm-hmm. Second question, did he do something that caused the light bill to be significantly more than what it normally would be? Like, is there some backstory or something where she's been telling him to not leave something on, or he had friends over and they had all the lights in the house? Like, is there some kind of extenuating circumstances that would, kind of maybe change the opinion that I'm about to give? So there's a whole lot that's involved with, that could possibly be involved with what made her come to that conclusion that that's how she was going to get the money for the light bill. But if there are no extenuating circumstances, it's just a matter of it's the monthly light bill that needs to be paid and she's expecting him to help pay it, I think she is trash. Because first of all, children should not have to pay bills until they are legal adults, and as long as they're behaving properly and not causing the mom any kind of undue stress, being, respectable in behavior, whatever, a child should never have to pay bills. Now, if they fall on hard times, she lost her job, something like that, and everybody's having a pitch in, that's one thing. But what I heard was she wanted him to use his birthday money, and because he would not use his birthday money, she wants to pawn his PlayStation. I think she is trash, because birthday money that's given to a child, especially she's not the one that gave it to him, that's his money. Whoever gave it to him to do what he would. Now, she should supervise how the money is spent, and that he shouldn't go buy weed or something to drink, or, go to the strip club or something.
Well, he's only 13. So
I'm saying, so like, within reason, she should have some jurisdiction over how the money is spent. But that was his money to do what he wanted. It was his birthday. If she needs money to pay bills, then she needs to figure out how to get those bills paid outside of that child having to sacrifice something that was purchased for him and or his birthday money. Like I said, I don't know if there's extenuating circumstances, but it runs me hot when I see something. You made the comment that maybe he's the man of the house. No, he's not the man of the house.
I'm saying is,
I understand what you're saying, but no 13-year-old is the man of anything. A 13-year-old should not be the man of anything. And whoever this mom is, unless there's something that we haven't been told, because we minding her business right now.
Well, I mean, she put her business on the internet.
Well, so she was wrong as two left shoes. There's no way that child should have been asked to pay the light bill with his birthday money or his PlayStation money.
Is, number one, if she bought him the PS5, why are you giving him something to take it away?
That you couldn't afford.
If you can't afford a PS5, then don't give him a PS5. Don't give him a PS5 with no money.
And then take it back from him.
That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you got money to get your nails, I know how much nails cost. I have nails. You're spending at least $100 probably. And her nails was long and shaped, and it had a gel color on it.
Okay.
So if you have money to get your nails done, you have money to pay the light bill. I feel like as a parent, you give up your luxuries so your kid has their necessities and has some enjoyment.
All day.
If you grown enough to have a baby, then you should be grown enough to be able to pay your bills
and provide for that baby.
And I'm not saying that people who are struggling,
things happen.
Like stuff happens. People get divorces, separated, whatever. Like every this stuff happens. But there's also these things called contraceptives that also happen. So if you don't want to be in a situation where you're dependent on your child for money, then you need to be more responsible with where you laying down at, and also what you're spending your money on. Like, I just don't understand why
before she tried to take his birthday money and or his PlayStation, like you said, if she was wearing jewelry, have you exhausted every other avenue before you ask this child? Because to me, that's problematic, because you're asking a child to step into an adult role. First of all, paying a bill, that's that. Because and it's not like it was some kind of extra. It was the light bill. You got to have light.
Okay, if you want some new shoes, then you got to sell your PS5. That's one thing. But to say the light bill, and how many other people are in? Are there any other
people in the house? Was everybody else contributing?
Kids in the house that have
and then
jobs?
Here's the other thing. If I'm that child, and I don't know this child, and I don't know this woman, you have now created a sense of insecurity in me that I'm going to wonder now, what other bill am I going to have to pay? And what other things am I going to have to give up? You have possibly caused him to feel guilty for not contributing to the household, which he should not have to do in terms of light bills and utilities and things like that. And then you're also making him feel insecure because he
I
doesn't
feel
know.
like a good kid, if they see that their whole family is struggling and they can do something to help, they're probably going to voluntarily offer. So the fact that he didn't voluntarily offer either says to me, it's not that much of a need. You just want him to do that so you can go off and do whatever you want to do.
There are these women that feel like a boy's supposed to be a man. Like there are people that have that warped mentality that you got to make them a man early on. Childhood only happens once. A child needs to be allowed to be a child.
To make somebody a man just because you don't have a man.
Oop. Fix it, Jesus.
If you don't have a man, you just don't have a man. You need to go.
She has to man up.
You got to go. She has to man up. You did something without knowing that she was gonna have a man. So and I'm not saying that from like a place. I mean, I am saying it from a place of privilege because
you kind of are.
Life. But I'm saying that in the way that in my brain, obviously, I would have a relationship. So if I had a kid, it's both of our kids, both of our responsibility. But also, when I'm at the point that I'm ready to have a child, I'm going to be ready to take care of that child by myself if I have to.
And now, again, if something happened unexpected and now you need everybody to pitch in, you should have put that in your post because otherwise it just looks like you have an expectation that this child is going to help pay light bills.
In the video that we didn't
we don't know.
I saw a screenshot of
we don't know, but I just feel like somehow you're mismanaging your money if you got to make your child spend their birthday money to pay a necessary bill.
I feel like before you do something like that, you go down and donate plasma. You go down and offer to tutor somebody.
And then the way that she presented it too is sus because she said because he won't give up his birthday money, I'm gonna pawn his PlayStation. Like,
but the thing is a 13-year like what I'm not understanding is. Obviously, you have control over the things that he has in the house.
If you knew I don't know how he got his birthday money, but if you knew you were short on the light bill, you should not have even allowed him to know that he had birthday money.
But what I'm saying is maybe somebody directly gave it to him. But if you had access to be able to take unplug his PS5 and take it to a pawn shop, you had access to just take the birthday money, which I'm not saying you should have done in either way, but it seems like an extra nasty punishment to take something he already had. I'm sure a 13-year-old boy loves.
He had already spent that money in his mind, honey. He had already decided what he wanted to do. No, but I'm saying it
seems extra cruel to take away his gaming console, which if you know boys, you know that them in a gaming console look like this.
Yeah.
Instead of just taking the money that he just I feel like it was extra.
There's
dirty.
something I hope that we're missing something. I hope we're missing something because if it was just you got to help pay the light bill, either give up some of that money or I'm gonna sell your PlayStation. If that's all that there is to this story, then she's trash. Now,
and like I said, don't worry. Now maybe she do her own nails. Who knows? But you figure something out. You don't have no male friend. You can ask for $20.
Well, I'm not advocating that. I'm not advocating that
before you put the responsibility on a 13-year-old
and then everybody doesn't have good money management skills. Some people don't know. They were not taught, so they don't know how to do it. And maybe we're wrong for standing in judgment. Maybe this lady don't have the mental capacity to know how to budget her money.
She have the mental capacity to have a kid.
But the two things sometimes go together.
Just saying,
if they don't have common sense to know, like sometimes the two things go together.
If you don't know how to manage your money efficiently, then you should not be having children.
I don't recommend having children if you're not good with money management. I will co-sign that.
They're going to need money.
Yeah, they're going to need things. They're going to want things. And it sounds like, and I'm not even advocating that a kid should have like luxury items. If the budget is tight, you need to make your child live in reality. Don't try to splurge and spoil if you can't.
Don't go
but
into
once the splurge and or the spoil has happened, don't undo that because you did not manage your money right. Like I don't know.
I feel like we really have to be more responsible where we
we're being very judgy in this situation based on the fact that we think we can be judgy. We don't know the whole story, but based on what we do know. No bueno. Taking the child's money and their PlayStation.
You need to get
your life together, girl.
You need to figure something out. You need to take up a shift somewhere.
Yeah.
But and another instance of parents that aren't necessarily doing the best of jobs, in our opinion. Ask a Gemini. I saw this TikTok and I was very appalled, but I thought back to conversations that I've had with guys and their growing up experience, and I'm like, it's really not even that shocking though, because a mother was furious online. It got over 800,000 likes, I think, last time I looked at it. Furious because her child attended a birthday party where a mom paid for a stripper to to come to the party. And the gag is the child was not 18, the child was not 17, the child was not 16, the child was 14. For his 14th birthday, they had somebody shaking their booty, throwing ones on the floor with the stripper at a 14-year-old birthday party.
Was that the same mother who's trying to take the birthday money? Because they both trash. Like they probably it was yeah. Because I'm gonna say it again. First of all, a stripper's purpose, goal, I think, and I don't know because I've never been a stripper and I've never been to a strip club. I've never been anywhere when anybody was stripping. But the kind of the goal of the stripper is to turn men on, get them excited in a sexual way. A 14-year-old should not be being encouraged to be turned on sexually and under any circumstances. So why would you? And if I'm the mother of another child that attended this function and you didn't tell me in advance that this was going to be a part of the entertainment, Grady might have to host me at the Gray Bar Motel over in the county.
There's so much wrong with. First of all, if you are, and I'm not judging strippers
because she's doing her job. She did what she got paid to do.
Because strippers make a lot more money than I do.
If she got paid to show up and strip, that was what she did. However, let me throw this out there real quick so I don't forget. If I'm the stripper and I come and I see that,
that's what I was about to say.
Okay, so because you were raised right, go ahead.
I feel like the stripper is at fault once she gets to the party and she's like, well, who's the birthday boy? And they pull out a 14-year-old boy.
And you can look at a child and know they're a child most of the time.
I'm sure the party had something
happy 14th or something.
If you're that stripper, you should have been like, matter of fact, call me when he's 30. I'm going home.
What you should have done was said, pay me for my gas and time coming here, but this is inappropriate and maybe borderline illegal, but I'm not doing this.
I don't know if it's illegal or not.
I said borderline because I don't know.
Because I feel like strippers to a certain, I mean, maybe some people will agree with what I'm about to say, but I feel like strippers still have morals. It's the same way.
There are some people that strip because they need the money, and I'm not advocating for stripping, and you better not ever, but some people may.
Just like how Cardi B said that she was a stripper, but she wasn't a prostitute. There's two different,
it's two different things.
And just like how she says she makes WAP and all of that, but she doesn't let culture listen to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's still morals involved, even if you are someone that, shakes a little cash. But when she rolled up, she should have said, you know what, I'm gonna actually go back to I'm gonna go back to the Pink Pony Club. A shout out to Chaperone. I'm going back there and I'm not gonna continue to, participate in these activities. I guess none of the parents knew what was happening until after, so they're not at fault until how they handled it after the fact.
Yeah.
The mom needs to go to jail because it's giving very much pedophilia.
Yeah.
And then did the son ask for this? Because it's not unusual that a 14-year-old
might ask for that. But you don't say yes to that.
And I even think it's weird when parents are just like, yeah, I'm going to go take my son to Hooters for his 14. Like, that's really strange to me.
Yeah. Not strange, but very highly inappropriate.
It's not strange that the boy wants to do that, but it's strange
that a parent agreed to do it.
There was an agreement that we were gonna go on a family trip to Hooters so that way he can get his jollies for his birthday. That's really weird.
To me, that's encouraging sexual behavior, and you should never be encouraging a young person to be sexually active.
I don't know about other communities because I'm not part of those communities. I'm part of the Black community. I've heard from a lot of Black men that they were overly sexualized as children. Mm-hmm. And it also happens to Black women where, she's going to be a hard worker. Like, all of that happens. Yeah. But it's like, I've heard from Black men, like, that they've had experience with much older people. And it's just like, and nobody said that was inappropriate. Nobody thought that was weird.
And sadly, in some situations, it's encouraged for boys because it's making them a man.
He's talking about he paid a prostitute for it. Like, are you not?
To me,
that's so
you
weird.
Can at me. You can say whatever you want. Yes, I'm being judgmental. Am I sin free? No, I'm not. I have done a lot of things. That's between me and the Lord. But what I did not do and will not do is encourage children to become sexually active.
It's one thing to allow them to explore their sexuality and being sensual, or like all of that is a part of life. It is expected
that young people, regardless of gender, race, nationality, are going to be attracted to people. I was going to say the opposite sex, but that ain't, that's not always the case these days and whatever.
Well, that's never always been the case.
It's never always been it, but at one point in time, it's more socially acceptable that you love who you love. Okay, we're going to put that right there and leave it right there. It's normal to find people attractive. But what's not normal is for a older person, especially a person in authority, especially a parental figure, to encourage sexual activity. Now, I know there's a lot of progress that has been made and people look at things differently, and I'm very old fashioned and I'm very traditional. I'm going to stay like that. There's no way that you should be encouraging a young person to become sexually active, because that's how you get mothers that have to take their kids' birthday money to pay the light bill.
I don't find anything wrong with. I don't think sex should be demonized at all.
No,
I think
that's how we all got here. Most of us got here. I should say.
I feel like from a Christian perspective, because once again, that's something. I feel like sometimes sex can be demonized to where you get to be an adult and you just like, I don't know. How
the Bible says the marriage bed is undefiled.
Sure.
That's what the Bible says. I'm just saying that's what the Bible says.
Yes. I feel like to a certain extent sometimes, and even that, I feel like, once again, specifically in the Black community, for women, it's always seen as like, oh, we don't talk about that. We're like, oh, oogly boogly. You should not want to have sex with anyone. But for guys, it's almost like if they're not talking about it, then they're being quite, well, are you gay? Like, are you, what, like, what?
It's a double standard, absolutely.
And it's weird, because it's like, why do we shouldn't be caring whether kids are wanting to have sex. We shouldn't be caring whether kids are gay. Like, none of that is an issue.
If it's your child, you should be caring whether they want to have sex or not. But they should be encouraged to behave in an age-appropriate way. Whatever they're doing, they should do it at an age-appropriate time.
Agreed. But in this instance, I feel like this is an example.
Then no child under 18, because that is when the law says you're an adult. No child under 18 should be sexual in any way, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion.
That's a little bit unrealistic.
I know it's unrealistic. I know people are going to say you tripping. I know people are going to say you bug. All of the phrases, all of the old ones, all of the new ones, because I know you were going to say that. But whatever. Until they are a legal adult, until they are able to be, because right now, let me say this. Right now, if an underage child becomes impregnated, or if an underage child impregnates somebody's daughter, the parents are held legally, in some cases, are held legally responsible until that child becomes of age for the birth of a child. So until you are legally responsible for your behavior, until you are either legally responsible or emancipated from your parents' care, your parents should have some say-so on what's happening with you.
Once you reach teenage age, sex should be normalized in an age-appropriate way.
Everything should be age-appropriate.
Where it's not like this weird,
it shouldn't be taboo
thing that you can't talk about, or you are supposed to have no idea what it is, and you have to fake like you don't care about it. It should not be taboo.
You should be well aware of how things work in a certain sense.
You also should not be going to a strip club. You shouldn't be taking your son to a strip club. You shouldn't be
you shouldn't hire strippers.
I feel like that's an example of how a lot of parents make a kid's birthday party an adult event when this is about the kids just want to play Mario Kart, and now you done brought a stripper in the middle of the living room.
I think it's bad.
That's very crazy.
Parenting. There's no other way to describe it. That is bad parenting, pure and simple. I also think to a certain degree it's child abuse, because you are presenting a scenario to a child that should never be presented to a child. It is also, and we have not even addressed the fact that you're teaching that young man and all the other people there at the party to objectify women.
And that's what I was just about to say.
So, because a grown man going to a strip club where grown women are stripping, that's adults making adult decisions. If that woman is choosing to dance for those men, she's making that choice. But you're teaching a boy to objectify women.
Saying people probably gonna come for me for this. I feel like the concept of stripping is an objectification of women.
It is, but those women as adults and those men going to see them as adults are making that choice.
But I feel like to a certain extent, the women that do it are feeding into the patriarchy, and the men that are
but that's their grown business. That's their grown business.
I'm not saying. I feel like people should do whatever they want to do, but I still feel like the whole industry as a whole is about objectifying women. And I feel like teaching someone that from a young age, you're going to make them grow up to be the type of person that's going to coerce somebody or that's going to assault someone because they're going to see that as like, okay, I throw some money at you and you're going to shake booty in my face.
And then
that's crazy.
Going way off, because this is way off, I will never understand the women that say they go to the strip club with their men.
Oh, I don't get
like
that.
I don't get that. I don't get. I would never
unless, you are bisexual and y'all have an open relationship.
Yeah, I guess
that's
those
the only
women.
way that
but
makes
if you
sense.
are a heterosexual woman that claims to be in a monogamous relationship, what you mean you going to the strip club
it's
with him?
It's giving very much pick me, choose me, love me.
It's giving very much. I don't think him looking at me and getting excited about me is working. So let him go get stimulated somewhere else. I don't understand.
I was about to line say.
I don't understand.
I was about to line say that everything she can do, I can do.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because some of those women are very talented and they have skills and abilities.
Like I just saw an edit of Megan Thee Stallion and it's like, oh, and not that Megan Thee Stallion's not a stripper, but in terms of her skill level, it's on par.
Yeah, but
I can do that. But use your imagination. Pretend.
Yeah.
Just the same way that you might not be able to do something.
It's like I can't cook certain things like the people at the Mango's restaurant. He can go to Mango's, but he's going to Mango's to get something he can't. Let's take that metaphor and extend it. It's called conceit. Look it up. If I can't cook certain dishes that Mango's can cook it, he goes to Mango's and get it. So it's almost that same concept. If he needs to go to the strip club, he's feeling
and then what? This is getting really into the weeds of it. But so you go to the strip club with your man. What are y'all doing after?
He's thinking about what he saw at the strip club. I guess I don't know.
When y'all go home and it's like sexy time or whatever, is he thinking about the girl at the strip club, or is he thinking about
which
you?
would not be okay with me? Now there's some women that would feel like as long as he's acting out these fantasies with me, it's okay.
No,
it ain't never okay with me.
Have no fantasies.
It ain't never okay
about
with me.
With me.
I guess that's why.
Like, no.
I guess that's why I'm divorced, because like certain things are never gonna be okay with me. Certain things are never gonna be okay with me.
And I don't like. Are you like as a guy? Are you comfortable with your girl with like another girl, like, you know, doing like, because that's still like
we get we like to keep this show PG-13. We getting off PG-13, so let's bring it back in. Moral of the story is 14-year-olds should not be seeing strippers, and they should definitely not be seeing strippers that their mother or father or any parental person has provided. That is poor parenting. Throw yourself in the garbage can, in my opinion.
It's very, very, very nasty.
Yeah.
Jail to them all. What's that Wendy mean? Oh, she said something that I can't say without getting banned.
We're trying to stay PG-13.
But just like they changed the lyrics in Wicked, jail.
Anyway. As the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland, off with her head.
But anyway, Gemini Gems, would you like to go first?
Yes. Okay, so it is spring here in Florida. Spring break hasn't happened quite yet for some places, but it's getting ready to start. There's a lot of family trips to beaches or whatever. So I would like to suggest, when you go to the beach, if at all possible, if you have the capacity in your car, room in your car, if you got a small child that you are taking with you to the beach, consider buying one of those small little kiddie pools, so that when you get to the beach, you can place that and have the child set inside the kiddie pool. Bring a blanket or something to cover the bottom of it or whatever, but so that you don't have them sitting in sand. Because babies, especially little babies, hands in the sand in their mouth, hands in the sand in their eyes, hands in the sand in their hair. So like if you want to keep them from getting sand in their eyes, mouth, hair, if you just want to keep them where they're able to enjoy the atmosphere of the beach, but not, be picking up dirt, whatever, bring a kiddie pool, put a fitted sheet in the kiddie pool to like make sure that it stays in place, and then put them in there with their little toys so they can enjoy the beach without having the possible hazards of getting sand in their eyes, mouth, hair, whatever. So that's one Gemini gem.
And then when you go to the beach, your car gets very dirty after, sand everywhere. It's good to rinse your car off after going, so it doesn't get all of the salt water and stuff. It's going to rust, and it's going to make your car look a little bit icky.
Salt air. There's salt in the air near the beach, so it's a good idea to rinse the car.
Rinse your car off. I need to clean my car. That just reminded me.
Mm-hmm.
But don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Period.